Hey, what's up? First album review in a while. Back up a little here. The new Defeater album, Empty Days and Sleepless Nights, came out last month, I believe. I think, yeah, March or April. Well, April's this month, so yeah. Yeah, if you don't know, they're a pretty new hardcore band on Bridge 9 Records, along with a lot of other hardcore bands. Um, and they're really, really good. They're probably one of the best, modern hardcore bands, definitely right now. And this album is just another testament to that, just like their last album was, which was called Travels, by the way. Um, I haven't heard Travels in its entirety, but I've heard people talk about how these two albums to kind of talk about the same story, but like you don't need to listen to Travels to understand the story on Empty Days and Sleepless Nights. You can kind of like, I mean, they link together, but you can have one or the other. It's fine. Um, and I think I'm gonna start talking about that first because that's a really really huge part of the album. I mean, like the paths that the album takes, take those paths, or no, what the hell am I saying? The things that the album does it because the story it's telling calls for it. That's what I mean. So just a little summary of the story. It's these two brothers. I don't know where they live. I think that might have been mentioned in Travels. I don't know, but one brother kills the father of the family, and I think that's what happened on Travels. Again, not sure, but the very first song on this album, Warm Blood Rush, starts off with like them like the dad has just died, and the one brother is saying, "I ain't no forgiver, forgetter," and he's like, "Forgetter." He's like promising to avenge his father and whatever. Oh, while I'm talking about it, I actually got the version that's like a book, and for each song, oh, on like the right, it has like a song explanation, and then the actual lyrics and stuff, and the CDs in the back. It's pretty cool. So yeah. So that's the story. And then and like each song is a different part of the story, and like eventually the mom gets addicted to heroin, I believe, because there's mentions of needles, due to the grief because of her husband dying, and eventually it just kind of carries on. The brother who killed the father like ran away or whatever to like hide, and the brother who's swearing vengeance is just staying home and trying to take care of his mom, and he meets a girl and gets married, but then his wife gets killed by his dad's bookie because of some unpaid debts that his dad had or whatever. So yeah, life kind of blows for this guy. But then, and yeah, eventually the song, the last song on the Empty Days portion, because of the album, it's separated into Empty Days and Sleepless Nights. I'll get to what that kind of means later. The very last song, White Oak Doors, is where the brother who killed the father comes back, and he's like the brother who wants to kill the brother who killed the dad is like kind of bringing him to the train tracks, which is a very significant place in this album because that's where like a lot of the brothers had kind of good times when they were kids, and he has like a gun in his back and he's kind of drunk or whatever, and he's just kind of stumbling to the train tracks and just saying, "I'm gonna kill you for what you did to our family and stuff." And this part of the song is really really intense, because like the it's the same structure of like the line that he's saying. It's just like, and it's really kind of, he just repeats it a lot and a lot, and you can hear like train whistles in the background because like that's where they're laying, is on a train track. It really just works all to create an image in your head. And right as he's saying the very last line in that song, which is if this is how it's going to be, then I would rather die at the hands of my own family because like his brother, the other brother, kind of took him to the ground, and it looks like they're both about to die. As he's saying family, when he says fam, it just stops. Everything just abruptly just ends, meaning the brothers got hit by the train. And it's really, really intense. And after that, there's like 13 minutes of silence before the Sleepless Nights portion of the album starts, which is 4 acoustic tracks, actually. Since they can't say anything more about the 2 brothers because they're both dead, they're all kind of flashbacks. That's what the songs are about. The first one, But Breathing, is about life growing up, and then Brothers is kind of life growing up as as brothers and stuff. The very last line of this song is kind of creepy because it's kind of foreshadowing. He says, "He swore if I didn't let go, he would knock me off my feet," and that's what he did. So yeah, I mean, the album is very meticulously crafted. Like, everything makes sense. Like, everything ties into, like I said, everything on the album revolves around the story. And then there's I Don't Mind, which is about his wife, and then Headstone, which is about his wife too, which is a really, really kind of haunting, because he's like at, the song is called Headstone, and he's like at the grave, just talking to her, even though she's not really there, Yeah. The acoustic tracks are not out of place, especially if you actually take the time to listen to the 13 minutes of silence between the 2 parts of the album. And they're very, very well done and very well written. It sounds like a completely different band, even though I'm pretty sure it's the guy who does the screaming on the first songs it's the same guy singing, and he's got a great voice for both of them. So yeah. Now, why the album, that was just, I didn't really explain if the album was good or bad or anything. I just kind of told what the album was about. It's extremely, extremely good. Like I said, everything on the album revolves around the story. And the story is, like I described, is really depressing. It's a really, everyone involved, I mean, must have been miserable. And even though the lyrics aren't really dressed in a lot of complicated metaphors or whatever, they're still, they tell the story really obviously, like what's going on, but they still written kind of poetically in a way that just like sticks in your head, and it just it paints a picture, and that's what they're supposed to do, is you have like images like this in your head all the time because of some of the descriptions of the place that he's in, and like the just the despair that everyone's feeling, about the whole situation. And you not only do the vocals correspond with that perfectly, because they're just like, there's some parts where it's like, it's not even like a full scream, like it's almost like his voice is like cracking, yeah, there's a part in Empty Glass, one of my favorite songs on the album, where everything kind of slows down and it's just the guitar going like, kind of like clean, like dun 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 dun, and then he like yells, and it sounds like he's kind of yelling from a distance, like he yells, "Tell me about the old days," but it's just like, it's so raw and just amazing. It's yeah, just passion everywhere, and even, but like I said, it's not just the vocals that kind of evoke that feeling and paint that picture of just that really, really bad situation, having your own brother killing your father, and then your mom being addicted to drugs, and eventually she dies too, and just swearing that you're gonna kill your own brother and stuff. The music really evokes that feeling too. It's not just like, it's a lot more varied than classic hardcore, like Black Flag, Minor Threat, just power chords all the time, stuff like that. I'm not saying those 2 bands did that all the time, but you know what I mean. It's not like hardcore like that. It's still pretty varied musically, not to the point of being post-hardcore really, but it's like there's a lot of kind of switching off between fast and crazy, and then like clean and really, but none of it feels forced, or put that there because like, oh, it's time for a clean passage now. They just kind of do it because that's what the lyrics in that part of the song call for. They're just trying to tell the story with it making as much sense as possible, with this place being here and this place being here. Like I said, everything revolves around the story, you know. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think there's, yeah, and the musicianship is really good. You know, the guitar parts aren't, you know, mind-numbingly simple at all. There's a lot of kind of, you know, interesting patterns and lots of kind of really crazy. I don't notice drums usually, but there's a few songs on this album where there's kind of just like a fill going. There'll be just like a guitar note just sustained, and then like a drum fill will just like be, or not like a fill, but like a really kind of cool beat just keeps going. There's a lot of that on this album. These guys can definitely, you know, play their instruments and stuff. Um, so yeah, it's just, and just the tone of the guitars and just the way that everything is played is just played with this kind of this energy that's just like, oh my god, I just want to tell this story of how fucking miserable I am because my brother killed my dad and my mom is about to die due to a drug addiction, and it's just like it almost seems like everyone in the band is going through the same problem and they're playing their instruments with that passion that comes with that, you know what I mean? Every song, including the acoustic tracks, even though that's just, you know, the guy and his guitar. Um, yeah, everything is really, really amazing. Yeah. No clean singing in any of the hardcore tracks, the Empty Days part, but that's fine because there's no parts in the songs that really call for that. All those 10 tracks are just really, really intense, blistering, very, very emotionally charged songs. Some even a pretty tear-jerking, to be honest, if you really kind of immerse yourself in the story, which is very easy to do if you're paying attention, you know, so definitely, yeah, recommended. Empty Days and Sleepless Nights by Defeater. Oh yeah, I should show you. With this little book thing I got that poster right there too. Ooh, both of these posters. That one's pretty big actually, and then that, so you can buy that on bridge9records.com. Alright, cool. Thanks for watching.